hear from our interns, which will be so awesome. Excited to hear from them tonight. We also have a little surprise announcement for y'all at the very end of the night. So
stay tuned.
After small groups, after the benediction, after all of that, if you want to stick with us,
if you want a surprise,
we have a surprise for you.
Yes.
It's a good one.
Nope,
you gotta wait. So there you go. But before we go, and we just want to say welcome and let you know that we will have small groups still tonight. If you don't want to be in a small group, feel free to put little parentheses, no small group. If you want to be a leader, put the little dash leader by your name, and we'll make that happen.
Yes.
It's going to be a great night.
And we recommend, we've said it every week, but for anyone that's new, we recommend you stay on speaker view during this time. It's going to be a great night, and we're just excited for what's in store.
Yeah. So, I don't know why I did that. Is there confetti with the surprise?
We'll try and make that happen, but no promises.
Just wait and see.
Yeah.
It's a true surprise.
Yes.
Okay. First things first, we want to give you some opportunities because at the end, we're all about real life in Jesus. That does not change since we're meeting over Zoom. And we do believe that Jesus meets you right where you're at. And so he's just as present where you're at now.
Yes.
And with that, we want to have opportunities to help you continue to engage with him. So our first opportunity is a senior day.
Woo-hoo, seniors!
Senior Zoom.
Where they
Let's
at?
go.
Where they at?
So we would want to invite any seniors, whether you've been involved in this community or not. Invite your friends, let people know if this is your last year of college and you are transitioning out of college into whatever is next for you. This Sunday at 2 p.m., we're going to have some past members, people that have graduated, they're old, come back and share some of their thoughts and what it's been like for them to transition and just give you an opportunity to transition, to process and figure out what it's going to look like to move on to the next phase of life.
And if there's any seniors that are interested, who should they reach out to if they have questions?
Ooh, if you have questions, I'm going to put her on the spot. Reach out to Joyce.
Nice, Joyce.
And she will let you know all the details you need to know.
Awesome.
And if that's wrong, she'll send you to who
the right person is. That's awesome. Seniors, you should definitely check that out. Our other just like small announcement is to continue to check out things going on with social media throughout the week. We have a lot of ways for you to connect and engage just with community and with friends. We want to encourage you to keep doing that. And we really want to make sure you know to come back next week, next Tuesday. It's going to be our final Zoom in of the quarter.
What?
Which is sad. And
already.
It's really crazy because time really has felt like it's flown by. But put that on your calendar next Tuesday. It's final Zoom in for the quarter.
That's right.
Yes.
It is. And there's no easy transition. Thanks for sharing that. There's so many opportunities here at the end, and we're so grateful for that. Okay, so we just finished up a series a couple weeks ago called Life in Transition. Not Transition, that's not even it. Life in Tension. That's the thing I'm thinking about, transition. Life in Tension. And man alive, it's wild to sit here and almost feel like I'm having the same conversation I had 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I sat here and talked about the realities that we're facing with Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. And today I sit here and bring up the fact that George Floyd was murdered this past weekend. And another man, almost, who knows what would have happened, but Amy Cooper called the cops on a man who was just asking to follow the rules. And it breaks my heart that 2 weeks ago, I sat here and I was like, I'm tired of having this conversation. I don't want to have this conversation, but we need to have this conversation. And 2 weeks later, we're having the same conversation about different people. And it's devastating and it's hard and it's difficult. And me and Brooke were just sitting down for dinner and talking about it and going for a walk and talking about it. And we just wanted to bring you into a little of the conversation because we can't be silent about it. And we promise as a community, we won't be silent about this. And so just to let you in on where I'm at a little bit right now is I'm just so aware of it's just trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. And I'm sitting here, me and Brooke were just talking, I'm like, I haven't even processed George Floyd or even what went on with Amy Cooper. I haven't processed it because life hasn't stopped at all. And so I'm sitting here and I know that there's a weight on top of me. I know that there's a weight that I'm feeling, but I don't even know what I'm feeling. I don't even know the anger, the pain, the sadness that I'm feeling, because there's 1,000 other things that are still going on, and I want to be present and feel that as well. And so even today when I took a break and we walked, and as we're walking, I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's just a heaviness on me. And maybe you're feeling that. Maybe you don't know what to feel. Maybe you have emotions and feelings that are coming up that you don't know how to interact with it. That's all right. Like, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of grief that's going on, and we are feeling it and we're in it. And this is not what we want to have happen in our world. And so it is sad, it is horrible, and we're feeling it. And I don't even know what to feel right now. I go back and forth between lots of emotions. So yeah, we were just talking about that. And then you had some thoughts.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's not a new thing. And as Chris was saying, it's horrible. And something that we were talking about as we were walking, is just that for me, myself, as a white woman, I've done a lot of work of learning like my cultural story and my cultural background. And I don't know everything. I'm still learning a lot. But I'm learning how really to use my voice and not be silent and to take action on things. And something we're talking about is just like a fear I've had is that people think like, oh, you're only about this because I'm married to you. Or really like another fear also is like, I'll come off as just this ignorant white woman who doesn't know what she's talking about. But something we were talking about was like, okay, I can't control what people think. I can control myself. I can control not being silent. I can control standing up for injustice, standing against evil. And so I can use my voice in that. And so I'll say to anyone who's white that's watching, like, we can do this. You can take the time to learn who you are, your own cultural story, the cultural story of others. We can unlearn racism, and we can do the hard work to be actively against it because there are lives at stake.
Yeah, I think we sit here and we're talking about this celebration culture that's come around the church and the inn, and we do want to celebrate. We sit here on a night that we want to celebrate, and we will celebrate our interns and the time that we've had over this year, because y'all have crushed it and done a fantastic job, and the Lord is doing so much incredible work in this community and in your lives and through your lives. And at the same time, there is incredible grief, there is incredible pain, there is so much brokenness in this world. And we're not just going to skip over that. We're not going to be silent about it. I think about the fact that 6 years ago, almost maybe to this night, I got up in front of the inn and said, we're never going to be quiet about this stuff again. We're going to talk about this. We're going to be on the forefront of this. And here we are living in it. And so I just want you to know, I say this, I don't say this lightly. Know that this is a big invitation. If you are processing, if you are feeling things, if you want to figure out different ways of action or things that you can take in or different information, things you can learn, hit us up. Yeah. We have a lot of resources that we'd love to connect you with. We want to meet you in that, whether that is to grieve and lament and cry, whether that's to learn, whether that's to vent and be angry.
Yes.
We're with you. Yeah. And we're in this fight. I think the only way that the devil wins is when we stop moving. And so we're not going to stop moving. Yeah. So I'm going to take some time to pray for us. There's not words that can really make it better, but we're going to pray, and we're in it, and we're not giving up, and we're inviting you to be in it with us as a community. So if y'all would join us in prayer real quick. Jesus, there's a weird place to be in right now, and I just admit that I don't even know everything I'm feeling. It kind of bums me out in this moment that I feel really numb today. Yeah. And so, Jesus, we pray for George Floyd's family. That just sucks. That's another loss, God. We pray for the fear that a whole community of people is feeling fear of the people that are hired to protect them. That feels so often like we're not being protected. So we pray for just your intervening hand in all of our emotions in this, God. Jesus, we for our Black brothers and sisters on this call, wherever you're at, we pray you be able to bring your whole self to Jesus. Whatever you might be feeling, whatever you might be processing, we pray you could bring that. For our white brothers and sisters and other people of color that are not Black, we just pray that you would see and step in and not be silent and become awake to things and not go back to sleep on things and do the work to figure out ways to be allies and anti-racists and things like that, Lord Jesus, so that we could see your kingdom come and racism obliterated in this world. Jesus, it's not just about seeing this happen in our lifetime. It's about continuing to fight to see this happen in this world. So we do pray that we would see racism eradicated in our lifetime, and we also don't lose hope if it's not. So Jesus, we just thank you for your love. We thank you that you care way more about this than we do. And we just pray that your kingdom come, Lord Jesus. And we just take a moment right now to just sit wherever we're at and whatever we're feeling. And we pray these things in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, we live in the tension. And I said it before, it is a night of celebration. Yes. And so we do want to take some time to celebrate. Yes. We hold these things in both of our hands, grief and celebration. And right now, instead of a student witness, what we wanted to do is just give some time for you all to share. Yes. And so what we're going to do is just ask if there's any like quick stories or highlights, maybe not stories, but just highlights or memories. We don't need y'all going off for 10 minutes, but us like little memories that of this year from the interns or just from the ways God has worked this year. We'd ask you to put some stuff in the chat. If it's quick, like just quick hits or little things,
little shout outs,
encouragement, shout outs.
Put those in the chat. That's one option here. And then the other one is that, as Thor was just saying, if you feel like you have a story that you want to share, a little snippet of something, you can raise your hand or do the little raise your hand somewhere on here. And we're just going to look and we'll unmute you for a second for you to be able to share that publicly with the community. But if all throughout it, you can be posting in the chat. We're going to be looking at those of just ways that you're seeing the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because God has been at work this year.
And we want to celebrate what God has done this year. Shout out Mississippi.
Men's Day, in-ball. Absolutely.
I'll be reading through these if you want to look for people raising their hands.
Looking for raised hands if someone wants to share.
Interns. Yes. Oh my gosh. Specific for Alan Turner for incorporating him into this community. That's awesome.
Oh, Bailey.
Bailey's got her hand up.
I can already unmute myself, so I'll just do it.
Oh, fantastic.
I want to shout out Taylor, because on the very first day I met Taylor, it was at the student leadership retreat, and I think I had maybe said like hi to her, and she like saw me during worship and was like, I think I need to come and pray for you, and she just like sat there and prayed with me, and it was just like a really vulnerable situation for her to walk up to someone she didn't know. So I just want to say thanks to her for everything she's done in the community, how she really stepped in.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Bailey.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Bailey. Oh, we got another one. Daniel.
Let's see.
We will spotlight your video and
what's good, y'all?
Daniel, Gerv.
Daniel,
man alive.
I am playing up. I'm Gerv. One thing that I'm really thankful for is for Alan to kind of invite me to come into this community, and like as coming in like as a community college student, like I had no community coming in here, like I felt welcomed and I felt like I can be myself here, and I just could, without this community, I don't know how my relationship with Jesus would be like and how just like how just life would be like for me today. And I'm so grateful to be in this community, you know?
That's awesome. Thanks, Gerb.
Thanks, Gerv, Daniel. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, any others? Any others out
Any
there?
other shout outs?
Shout out Alan again for being a good friend.
Oh, Alan, you're a good friend.
Love you, Gerb.
Big
Oh.
Gerv. Maybe one more share. If people got anything, just a shout out, a highlight from the year.
Shout out to Hannah for being the sweetest human being, core group leader.
Oh my gosh, so good.
That is so good. Do you want to scroll through these and see if there's anybody?
Yeah, is anybody raising their hand?
Can I tell?
Shout out Janelle for always being a great friend.
Yes.
So good.
I saw some things in there about interns with freshman retreat. I just think back to freshman retreat. Like,
Oh my gosh,
shout out to what the Lord did there. That's so cool.
feels like a lifetime ago. That's awesome.
Taylor teaching me to advocate for myself.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Shout out Taylor for using a credit card as an ice cream scooper.
It's
For
also
months.
awesome.
That doesn't sound hygienic, but that's all right. Shout out Joyce
Fall weekend. The Wowsy getaway.
for amazing role model and friend. Shout out. Wow. This is so
These are
good.
I love reading these.
Y'all,
Cool.
we could do this all night. I'm gonna be honest, and I could just read your things all night. Feel free to continue to post them
Yeah.
throughout the night. I want to encourage us to be a community that encourages each other. If there's things that you've seen that God has done in and
Mhm.
through somebody, like tell them.
Mhm.
Let's not sit on that. Think about how meaningful it is when you hear that from somebody, and
Yeah.
we get to be able to be the ones that get to bring that news to people. So
Mm.
let's continue to step into that and be a community that that engages and that encourages one another.
Yes.
And I want to give this shout out. Shout out to the whole worship team. Literally chills every Tuesday night.
So awesome.
So good. So grateful for you all.
Yes.
So Brooke, I think you're going to pray for our
Yes.
encouragement and just pray for all these shout outs in this year. And then we are going to pass it off to Toby and Caitlin for a little bit of worship.
Yes. All right. I'll pray for us. Jesus, we just thank you so much for what you have done this year, Lord. We thank you for the ways that you have shown up in our lives, God, whether in the places that we expected and also in the places that we didn't, God, for the ways that you spoke boldly into our lives, whether that's through classes or through this community, through work, through the places that we live, Lord. I just want to claim and recognize that you are with us wherever we go. You are with us in all those spaces. And I pray for us to just have perspective to be able to look back and see and know how you were working, God. Give us eyes to see how you were working this year. And we praise you for the ways that we got to see you in this community through things that we did together, adventures we had, and also through the people. Lord, I just thank you that you used your presence through people in this community to bring us closer to you. And for that, we give you praise. Jesus, we love you. We thank you. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hi, you guys. I'm Caitlin, and I'm a senior at SPU.
I'm Toby, and I'm a senior at UW. Thank you, Thurton Brooke, for that, for our intro and for prayers. We're so excited to worship with you all tonight. I'm actually going to do a original song that I wrote a year ago, and this song's really important to me. It was kind of the first song I wrote that kickstarted my songwriting spree. It's called If You Only Knew, and it's about how if we only knew how great God is and how much he's done for us and how much he's doing in our lives, how could we not praise him? Like, how could we, our automatic response not be to worship and praise him? And my hope for you all is to reflect as we sing this over you. We'll sing the chorus a few times, so once you kind of catch on, feel free to just sing the lyrics. Yeah, so join us in some worship. How How can we see the mountains and the trees? And I wonder how they came to be. If you knew the path that God could take form, as a gust of wind or the calming of a storm. Oh, how you would praise it if you knew the sacrifice He gave you. If only you could see the man nailed to a tree. Father, you sent your son to die for me so that you could be praised for all of my days. You will be praised. How can you see the kindness of someone, not hope for a world that simply loves? If you knew the plan that God had made for you, He loves you despite anything that you could ever do. Oh, how you would praise Him. And if you knew the sacrifice He gave you, if only you could see the man nailed to a tree. Father, you sent your son to die for me so that you could be praised for all of my days. You will be praised. He is mighty. He is good. His arms outstretched to draw you in. For He hears you and He sees you. He will never leave nor forsake you. Ooh, He is mighty. He is good. His arms outstretched to draw us in. Oh, and He hears us, and He sees us. He will never leave nor forsake us. And if you knew the sacrifice He gave you, if only you could see the man nailed to a tree. Father, you sent your son to die for me so that you could be praised for all of my days. You will be praised. You will be praised. My life is yours. My hope is in only my heart holds. You made this holy and holy. Your glory is so beautiful. I fall onto my knees in awe. The heartbeat of my life is to worship in your light. Your glory is so beautiful. Your glory glory is so beautiful. Oh, my life is yours. My life is yours. My hope is in you only. My heart you hold. My heart you hold. You made this sinner holy and holy. So holy. Your glory is so beautiful. Fall onto my knees in awe. In the heartbeat of my life is to worship in your light. Your glory is so beautiful. Your glory is so beautiful. Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah. Jesus, you are good. 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 What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. Oh, no other fount I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Jesus, you are good.
There we go. Everybody, we have the opportunity tonight to hear from some of our interns, and we're going to do this in a little interview type style. So I really would encourage speaker view right now, because as sad as it is and as crazy it is, we're coming to the end of the school year, and that means that our interns' time on staff is coming to an end as well, which is wild, and I can't believe it's happening, and I can't imagine this place without them here every single day. But we get an opportunity to hear from some of them and some of their thoughts as we continue on in this series. I leave you with this. And so we seriously used a random generator to give us the order of our interns that we're going to share tonight. And we get to start off by hearing from the one and only Janelle. Hey, Janelle.
Hi.
Oh, it's good to see you. How you doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Excited to hear from you. We're going to hop into it because, time is a thing. And I want to ask you, Janelle, what is a highlight from this past year for you?
That is a great question. I think my highlight of this year has been the Mississippi trip. Shout out everyone who was on the Mississippi trip. I think in the planning and the execution and the follow-ups, God really broke me down. Did not think that we could pull this off, but me and Trev surrendered that whole thing to the Lord. And he showed up. I think in all the uncertainties of finances and housing projects, in the moment decisions, God remained faithful, and I saw him bring a lot of hope to heartbreak and the stories that we heard. So shout out again to the Mississippi crew, because we got to go to the Civil Rights Museum together to learn history that they don't teach. They don't put it in public school history books. And we entered into conversations that are often polarizing and divisive, stayed engaged when things got uncomfortably emotional. And we also got to listen to the gospel from voices of people who lived through segregation in the Deep South, which is crazy. And so through that, I got really connected with the 19 other people who signed up for the trip, and the people, especially the Holloways in Mississippi, that I now get to consider my family. And I think that those relationships are my biggest highlight of this intern year.
That's awesome, Juno. Thank you for sharing that. The next question I got for you is, what is a hope that you have for this community moving forward?
I want to challenge you all, everyone in this room and outside of this room right now, to look around you, to look at who is around you, and take some time, put in the work, take some time to become aware of who's not around you. That's my challenge, to be a community of individuals that seek to see the kingdom through a wider lens. And if you don't know what that means, honestly, that is such a broad and abstract concept, right? I just ask someone on staff, process, ask questions, and ask questions about yourself, and ask questions about other people.
That's awesome. Thanks, Janelle. I know that Mississippi trip is huge, and I know that what you're sharing with us to do is so heavy on your heart, and you have been teaching us and showing us that all year in such an awesome way. So thank you for doing that. Okay, Janelle, could you share with us a little bit about, to the best of your knowledge, what is next for you, and maybe how we can be praying for you?
Hint, I actually knew these questions beforehand. So I looked at some old prayers that I had from earlier on this year. And I think that really sets up my answer to this question and my answer to some of the other questions previous to this. And I just want to read it and close with this for my portion of this panel. But this is from December 21st. On the plane ride back to Seattle we flew out of New Orleans, but it was from Mississippi. And it says, "My Heavenly Father, I come in reverence of you. I am in awe of you this week. Co-planning this trip has brought me to my knees. In humility, I asked for your grace and power. In love, my Lord, you have grown vibrant and convicting fruit. Oh, my Lord, thank you for your grace. Thank you for opening up and breaking our hearts. Would you lead us to follow through with our convictions, to pursue learning about the world we live in and respond with a love that overflows? As for myself, Lord, I don't know why you have chosen me. You have placed fire in my heart that I cannot ignore. You have placed resources in my life to be able to live them out thus far, and my heart is shattered, wide open to where you lead. But I have no idea where to go next. And part of that is still true, that end part of I don't know where to go next. But I do know what some big missions in me are, and that is to bring education into different spaces and bring access to people who don't have access to things like healthcare and higher education. And I just want to bridge communities that and individuals in communities that normally wouldn't talk to each other. Still very broad. Maybe see me as a cultural intelligence consultant in the future. Who knows? But I think right now I do want to spend some time working in different places before I go back to school. I just want to give the public the best version of myself.
That's awesome, Janelle. Thank you for sharing. We're so grateful for you. Okay, Janelle, we have asked Jaslyn Wood to pray for you. And so Jaslyn is going to pray for you real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so if you guys would like to pray with me, I'm going to start. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for Janelle. Thank you for bringing such a light into all of our lives. Thank you for her wisdom, her ability to just always be intentional, her strength, and just thank you for bringing a person into our lives that changes people for the better with every interaction she has. Lord, I pray that you open doors for her in the future and that you guide her towards opportunities that allow her to keep her fire lit and allow her to educate people and bring access to people who don't have access, and just allow her the opportunity to be a good servant to you, but also do what she loves and serve you in that way. I pray that Janelle knows just how loved she is by this community and what the impact she's had on this community and how she's changed so many lives, including mine, and she's just amazing. So I pray that you give her opportunities and you guide her along the way, and that you lift her up in this next chapter in her life. And I pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thanks, Jaslyn. All right. Next up, we have Hannah Volsky. Hannah, what's up?
Hello. How's it going, Third?
Good. It's good to see you. How are you doing, Hannah?
Doing real good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Hannah, what is something that surprised you this year?
Great question, Third. As Janelle, I also knew the answer, so I kind of planned this out a little bit. Y'all, I was so surprised just by the amount of personal growth I did this year in the internship. So for those of you who don't know, I've been a part of the Inn for 4 years beforehand, and I thought like coming into being an intern, I was like, wow, I'll serve the community, but I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. I probably won't grow like that much. And God had other plans. So I just wanted to share with you guys some of the ways that he's really been stretching me and growing me. So first of all, I learned that even a dream job that I thought would be really fun all the time is still really difficult. So in the midst of being an intern, I kind of realized I have a big problem with time management and figuring out like my schedule, and that actually was really unhealthy for me. So I dove into a lot of conversations with people on staff of what it looks like to be healthy, even in the midst of a job that I really loved and thrived in, but still kind of felt unhealthy about. And I think a big thing too is like the internship helped me find my voice, and it was really surprising to me how little voice I actually had before I was an intern. So some part of my story, I've always really doubted myself and had comparison and just self-doubt issues, and didn't really know how to put my trust and my worth in the Lord. And I feel like the Lord had just worked so incredible, just like so much through me, and by giving me a voice, giving me ideas, giving me ways to transform and speak into people's lives that I didn't even know I could do. So the internship has just been really teaching me that like I have a voice that matters, and God has given me a voice that matters. And I think sometimes growing up as a, like, at least in my family, as a woman in my family, it was kind of like my voice was lessened. And so it's been really cool to lean into that and lean into what it looks like to trust my voice and trust what the Lord is doing, and like talk even though I'm scared or even though I don't know where it's gonna lead to. So other sweet parts about this is just like God has taught me so much of what trust in Him looks like. I think I knew it, but I didn't actually believe it. And this year, like in giving a sermon, I'd never spoken in front of a group of people like that before, and I was petrified. And looking back, it is my favorite thing that I've done this entire year. And it just like reminds me that when we say yes to the Lord, He does such incredible work through us, that He's going to be the one to prepare us. He's going to be the one to give us the courage and give us the ability to go up front and do the things that He has called us to do. So I've just learned so much from this internship, and it has been a massive surprise to the person that I am now compared to who I was at the beginning of this year.
Hannah, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And it's just cool to hear how much, like, what has surprised you is the way you've grown, which is awesome, which is really sweet. Can you share with us just a favorite memory you have from this internship?
Favorite memory is hard. I have a lot of favorites, but I think one that I want to call attention to, it was actually the very beginning of the internship. It was in like within a week of us starting, but I felt like the Lord was nagging me to do something with Greek recruitment, and I had no idea what to do. And Joyce kind of like threw me under the bus, but she kind of called me out and said I wanted to do something, and it really just got the ball rolling. So we ended up handing out free coffee to a bunch of women going through recruitment for sororities, and gave them a place to call home. And in my story, I never really felt like at home or safe in a sorority system. And so it was just sweet to bring life and talk life into women as they were going through recruitment, affirm them of their identity, affirm them of their worth. And it was so fun just to see so many girls coming in out of Palmer House, get it up and running for the start of the year. And I loved it. It was like, it's still one of my favorite things that we've done, which is awesome.
Love that. That was an awesome day. That was so cool when that happened. And just like, feels like so much of what that Palmer House can continue to be. So that was really sweet. Okay, Hannah, the big question, what is next for you to the best of your knowledge, and how can we be praying for you?
Great question. I got a big question mark in my future, you guys, but I think something sweet that I've been leaning into recently is just how for me God is, and just what it looks like to trust Him in this season. The future has a lot of baggage and a lot of fear for me, and I think the Lord has just been unveiling that and unpacking that in the last couple days. And I think He's just been reminding me that like what He has for me is better than anything I could have planned for myself. And so I am looking to get some professional work with elementary schools, hopefully maybe leaning more into speech therapy, which is what I went to school for. But I'm just actually in this space of, or I guess what you guys can pray for me for. I think just daily trusting the Lord and daily leaning into what He has for me, and not being afraid to hear what He has for me. And if it's different than what my plan is. And also just for daily steps, I think I have a fear of failure. And so actually, shout out Alan. He's helping me and keeping me accountable so I can get my resume finished by Saturday. So thank you, dude. Awesome. But yeah, taking little steps and not letting fear get in my way, and just continuing to pursue the Lord and just try. So yeah, prayers of that would be awesome.
That's awesome, Hannah. Well, we will definitely be praying for you. And right now, we are going to ask Vanessa to pray for you.
Oh, I'm going to cry already.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I just want to make sure. If you guys can pray with me, that would be great. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for the gift of Hannah. To be honest, like, we have seen and done so much together this past few years that can only be by your grace, to be honest. Like, thank you for how she just trusts you to let you speak through her. Thank you for giving her that talent to listen to her heart. Thank you for giving her the courage to ask hard questions and speak so much truth into my life and the life of the people around her. She is an amazing person. And when she told me she was going to do this, I was like, God, this is you. Like, you know how much she brings and how valuable she is to this community. And you put in her heart, and now she's doing it. And I am not the only one who can attest to how much of her presence has been valued and appreciated in this community. We are praying for you to keep guiding her. You have gotten her this far. You can finish the job. You have her life in your hands, and you have future to her right now is still unknown. But I know, and we all know that you have so much in store for her. You just open doors that to places that she needs to be. It might not be what she wants, but you know more than anyone here what she needs. And I'm praying that you continue to open those doors. And if it involves doing speech, hearing and speech, God, you have a work for her. If it involves something else, if it involves speaking into people's lives, God, you have given her that skill and that talent. And whatever door you open for her, I just want you to please show her a clear way to get there. It's going to be hard, but you, oh Lord, knows where she has to be and where she needs to be and where you need her. And we pray that you keep guiding her in that path, and you continue to show her your love and your mercy, and you continue to speak through her, and you continue to give her the boldness and not fear what the future holds, because she trusts in you. And that's double faith right there. That's big. Please do not fail her. Please continue to guide her and protect her and keep her safe, because we would love to see her more. Continue to bless her and bless her family and bless the people that she's around, and continue to let her light shine always. Thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Hannah. Grateful for you. Okay, I kid you not, we really did do this random, and for whatever reason, it came out ladies first. And so next we have Taylor Johnson. Taylor, what is up?
Hello. I don't like that I'm spotlighted and I can see myself.
Well, sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Too bad. Thanks, Janelle.
Your background looks very similar to Hannah's, which is awesome.
Like we live together or something.
Crazy. It's crazy. Taylor, what is something that you learned this year?
Yeah. Also, I would like to address to everyone. Yeah, I did speak last week. And I didn't like looking at myself then either. What's something that I learned this year that I'm excited to have in my bag moving forward? I think the biggest thing for me was in this internship, just learning that vulnerability is strength. And I think I'm someone who has always thought to be a leader, like I need to be really strong. And like I can't show weakness, or I can't show moments of uncertainty, or like me being really hurt. But I've learned this year that really good leaders are able to let their teams in like a healthy capacity of like, this is where I'm at, or like, I don't have all the answers, and it's okay to be in that space. And so I think that has helped me cultivate really great, open, honest, loving teams this year, is by me first showing vulnerability with them about where I'm really at and where I'm struggling too.
That's awesome, Taylor. That's so cool. That's a great tool to have in the bag. Oh my gosh. What is something that surprised you this year?
Yeah. So I remember when I got offered the internship, Mike and I were talking about me being an intern that would be like working like the deputation intern. And I was real salty about it, if I'm being super honest. If you were at my talk last week, you would know that I did not have the best deputation experience. And so I think I had a real sour taste in my mouth about deputation, still 3 years later. And my dep team has just been like the biggest blessing. I think I was gonna cry, but I love them. They have been so redemptive to me of understanding what deputation is and what it's about. And it really is just about like trusting the Lord and like growing in your faith in that and learning to serve another people group. But we just have had such a blast. And even though dep was canceled this year, which was so hard, we still meet every week. We're family and we're able to share experiences together and lament together and to celebrate together. And it has just been so sweet. I love you, Audrey, and I love you, Haley. I see in the comments. So my biggest surprise and blessing, I think, this year has been that team. And Palmer House. I love Palmer House too, but I didn't come in the same place with Palmer. I'm gonna throw that out there.
So good. And then Taylor, what's an obstacle that maybe you've overcome this year?
Yeah. January was a really hard month for me this year. January, for those of you who don't know, I was raised by my aunt and uncle. And so I had a car that was my Aunt Jan's, and my Aunt Jan passed away when I was 8. And so my car, Barb's the minivan, we love Barb's, she broke down and died officially in January. And that was really, really hard and bittersweet. And not even 2 weeks later, my grandma died, which was my best friend. And it was just like a really hard season. And I, yeah, shout out Barb's for breaking down in front of Sonia's house. That was actually super helpful. Sonia was able to help me when my car was broken down, and Hannah Volsky. But it was just a really hard season. And I think I thought I was okay, but I wasn't okay. I kept trying to push through like everything was fine. And I had to really lean into that idea of vulnerability as strength. And I had to like tell people, hey, I know I might look okay on the outside, but right now I'm really hurting and I'm not present. I'm gonna miss things and I need grace. And so it really taught me, again, that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Taught me that asking for help is okay, even though it's still really hard to do it, but it is okay to ask for help. And it's also taught me so much about learning how to sit with people in their hurt. I don't think I was particularly good at that before, but it's taught me that pain and grief and sadness and lament comes in waves. It's not linear. I always saw it as something that was linear and that we should just progressively get better. You don't, and that's okay. I still have it. I literally cried 2 days ago about it, and that's okay. And I think it's allowed me to love and care for people better.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. Taylor, to the best of your knowledge, what is next for you, and how can we be praying for you?
I don't know. I would love to see myself either working in ministry or with college age students, or a mixture of both of those things. So clarity on what that looks like. I feel like right now I'm supposed to stay in Seattle, but clarity on that too. I'll be here for the summer. There are a couple of things I'm certain about, and I'll share one. And one of those is I just feel like the Lord has called me to write. And I feel like I'm supposed to really lean into that. The rest, I feel like the Lord is saying, Taylor, for once in your life, like, stop getting so caught up on right versus wrong. There is no right versus wrong. Just make a decision. And that's been a really hard place for me to sit in, is that there is not, I can't make a wrong decision right now, as long as I'm attempting to be obedient to him and his will. So clarity on where, if I stay in Seattle, clarity on ministry, or working with college age students, or maybe I get to do copy editing again, which would be super awesome. So who knows? I love Raymond.
That's awesome, Taylor. Thank you for sharing. We're so grateful for you. And we have asked Bonnie to pray for you.
Don't, you can't look at me. We always cry when we look at each other.
I know I can't look at you either because I'm going to start crying. But let's pray. Um, Dear Jesus, I thank you so much for Taylor. I thank you for the way that she makes people feel seen. I thank you that you brought her to Seattle and you pushed her. And honestly, like she said last week, you wrecked her. You put her in really hard places and you made her push through it. And in that, she learned how to open up and she learned how to be vulnerable and see vulnerability as a strength. And then she used that to minister to people in such a deep way. I just thank you for the warrior heart you have given her. The fact that she fights ferociously for people and she fights hard for their hearts. I pray that you help her to feel seen the way that she's made me feel seen. And I pray that you don't give her safety. I prayed for safety for her physical self, but don't make her go with what's safe. Take that risk, like we've talked about for so long. I pray for clarity for her as she moves forward and direction in what you have in front of her. I pray that you present her with opportunities that make her surprised and just make her excited. I pray that you just overwhelm her by your presence and you help her to just be fulfilled in you in the way that you're guiding her. I thank you for the way that she listens and hears you. I thank you for the way that she hears your quiet whispers and she dives into them. And I pray for you to continue to give her that strength and you continue to give her that confidence in you that will make her dive into this next choice, no matter what that is. I pray that you just fill her mind with you and help move her heart to where you need her. I thank you for this amazing woman and what she has accomplished this year. I thank you for how she has moved people in incredible ways and just broken people down to see your heart. And I thank you for how you have shown her how to love people incredibly through you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Taylor. All right. It's time for the boys, I guess. So we want to bring up Trevor. What up, Trev?
What's up?
How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great.
Let's go. And Trevor, what is something that you learned this year?
There was a lot that I learned this year. I'll share one briefly and one a little bit more in depth. As Janelle hinted at earlier, like planning the winter break mission trip, I've never done anything to that scale before, from financials to like booking places that we're going to stay and doing all of the logistics of that. And then also getting down there. And I think when I was down there in that week, I learned a lot about how I operate under stress, which is not a typical state that I find myself in, but I do operate very differently when I'm in that. And so I've learned that like when I need to and like when I'm stressed, I just start making decisions really quickly. I usually like to take in a lot of feedback and like make decisions that are kind of including everybody's ideas. But when the rubber hits the road, like just start making decisions and making calls. And I think I learned a lot how to trust myself in that, which was cool. And also that Dare to Lead book by Brene Brown had some solid stuff in it. I've learned that I kind of already knew this, but was reminded that like internal cynicism doesn't really help anybody. and that usually there's actually really fruitful feedback from the things that like I am thinking or that other people think when they sit with that in their heads. But it's really easy for me to turn that into like a defensiveness. And so I'm still working on it, but I think I'm learning how to become more aware of that and speak those things out instead of just holding them inside and getting frustrated. So good book, would recommend.
That's awesome. Recommend 10 out of 10 times. Love that. Thanks for sharing. Trev, what's a highlight from this internship for you? What's something that stood out to you?
Yeah, I would have to echo Janelle again with the winter break trip. It was a trip that it was just a good group. If you went on that trip and you're on this call, I'm so thankful that you were a part of that trip. And just from the beginning, like even before we got down there, I was just excited about the people that we were bringing down, and also the people that we were going to get to meet down there. The stories we heard, and being able to just step into people's homes and listen and spend time together and hear of brokenness and hurt and pain and also joy, and seeing those things like so ingrained together and intertwined, I think was really powerful for me. So all around, that was a great trip. And then also another part of the year that stands out to me, right after my talk, none of you guys probably know this, even if you were there that night, but right after my talk, I like just essentially booked it out of Larson and just like went upstairs after talking to a couple people and just like totally broke down in tears, which was like kind of weird, but at the same time I was like, this is exactly what I need to be doing right now. And so I think there's like a lot within that I'm continuing to unpack still, but that also definitely stands out as a favorite moment, especially like just me and the Lord together.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that. Ethan Wren says you're the cutest intern. So congratulations. Trev, to the best of your knowledge, what is next for you and how can we be praying for you?
Yeah, what is next for me? There's no specific job lined up yet, but I feel like I'm being led back into software and the tech industry. And the more I've sat with that this year, I've kind of been all over the place and thinking about different things. And part of me thought seminary at one point, part of me thought going back to school to become a therapist, and part of me thought this. And yeah, just over the course of the year, I think it's been pretty clear that this is the next step. Whatever the steps are after that, we'll figure out when we get there. But I think for right now, just jumping back into software. So yeah, that's the big thing for me in terms of prayers. I think just continuing to learn, and especially like jumping into the tech world too. It's like very different than doing ministry, and it's just a totally different world, and people run a lot differently and have a lot of different priorities. So I think prayers for figuring out what it looks like to disciple and show Jesus in a totally new context are things that I would love prayer for.
That's awesome. Thanks, Trev. And we will be looking forward to when we're all working for you someday. We have asked AJ to pray for you today.
Sweet. Dear Lord, I just want to thank you today for Trevor. I want to thank you for allowing him to be part of our lives, extending his time with us for another year, Lord. One thing he asked me a while ago that I want to bring up right now is he asked about one of my friends, different things that he saw or I saw them, how they were like Jesus. And I kind of want to thank you today for some ways I feel like Trevor's like you. First off, I want to thank you for his thoughtfulness. Before he ever says anything, he always thinks about what he's going to say, thinks about what he's going to do. And I just want to thank you for that and thank him for that. Lord, I want to thank you for giving him his selflessness, for always putting other people first and putting himself after that, and caring for other people. I want to thank you for both his vulnerability and accountability. I want to thank you just for allowing him to always be willing to share, and also helping those around him, and making sure that it's not just said, but something's done about it. I also want to thank you for how supportive he is to all that he's around. This internship has really brought that out even more in him, and I want to thank you for that. Lord, I want to thank you for having him be a servant leader, just like Jesus was in taking every single situation and being a servant. I want to thank you for giving him the heart to be that servant leader as well. And I want to thank you for his consistency. No matter what, he always shows up. He's always there and consistent with you. Lord, I want to continue to thank you for Trevor and pray for him in a couple ways, Lord. I want to pray for his, as he mentioned, his internal cynicism and just thinking and getting frustrated by things. I pray that instead of keeping that internal, that he will be able to continue to bring that out, share with others, and be able to really grow and learn more about himself in that area. I pray that you will just give him the strength and the knowledge and the resources to be able to continue to grow that moving into this new phase of life. I also pray for his next step. I pray for his next step in life going into the tech world. Even though he's a big double degree guy, I pray that you will just allow him to use his skills that he's learned in this internship and pursuing you, and be able to take that to the tech world, be able to minister for you. And I also pray that he will be able to deliver results in his time, wherever he ends up in tech, hopefully somewhere cool. I will be somewhere cool. But I pray that you will just provide that opportunity and give him the knowledge and know where is best for him. Because we all know he's going to have like 1,700 offers after this. So I just want to thank you for him. Thank you for Trevor. And I pray for him and your guidance for him in this next phase. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks, God. Bye-bye. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, AJ.
Amen. Sorry, that got me. Big double degree guy too. That was good. Hey, thank you, AJ. Thank you, Trevor. If people don't know about it, go look up Try Hard Trevor. It's a fantastic meme. Okay, next up, we have the one and only Alan Turner. What it do, baby?
What was that? What was that out of AJ?
That was the Holy Spirit is what it was, bro. The Holy Spirit took over.
What's popping?
Oh my gosh. Alan, what's good, brother? Dude, what's a highlight for you from this year, man?
Meeting Gerv. Bro, I ghosted Gerv. My boy Drew sent Gerv my way for a Young Life event. First Young Life event we were having. And Gerv hits me up and he's like, yo, I'm trying to come through tonight. And I'm like, you get it? Because I didn't say anything to him.
You just sat there. I got it.
And here comes Gerv to that event. Because he was like, ask me, how do I get there? How do I do it? And I was like, I don't know what I was on. I just wasn't texting him back. And then by the grace of God, the absolute abundant grace of God, Gerv showed up.
For real.
And Gerv, if you haven't heard me say it before, Gerv makes all things better. So that's been a great thing. And then also, honestly, just being friends with MJ has been a huge blessing in my life, and watching him grow, giving him absolute buckets at in-ball. But honestly, just MJ is the guy that I needed this year to like just feel normal in a culture that's like transforming, and it's just awesome to be with him a bunch. And yeah, that was a highlight.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that. Oh man, Alan, what are you hopeful for this community going forward?
So many things. There's this girl named Taj coming through. She's gonna be an intern next year. Woo! She's gonna turn everything up. So if you're here next year, listen to that woman. I'm really hopeful for what she's about to do for this community. Also, I'm just hopeful that this community will continue its work that it's been doing since before I even got here. Of honestly just shifting culture to be a place that all people feel welcome and where people can be themselves and feel comfortable being themselves. If you spent any time with me, I'm super interested in liking myself and having others do the same. And I hope that the Inn is a place that encourages people to love who they are and champion themselves and the people around them. Hashtag I like me.
Hashtag I like me. I like you. So that's good. Alan, what's next for you? And how can we be praying for you, bro?
Anybody praying for me? What's next? I was gonna go fishing on a boat in Alaska, and I called my boy last night, and he was like, "Don't do all that." He's like, "He said I was too sensitive." So I don't know what I'm
We want you to find out.
Yeah, I might. I don't know. I'm gonna get a scooter, and I'm gonna deliver Postmates, and I'm gonna go swimming. That's what I know for sure.
Hey, that's what you know. How can we be praying for you?
You can pray. Well, I'm trying to go to school. I'm trying to go back to school. I'm trying to start a career, and I'm gonna stick my neck out a little bit in this next phase of life. If you saw my Instagram today, I'm just like very interested in like supporting white people that don't know what to do right now, in just times like this, where people are just getting fucked up for no. Oh, sorry.
Very good.
How do I always swear when I'm not supposed to?
It's your spiritual gift.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm just super interested in walking with people in this. And so, I mean, that's hard. And I think I have a voice and people listen to me. And so it gets scary posting on Instagram or talking to people or pursuing careers and this stuff. So I would love prayers that I would not be arrogant in my walk, or that I would beat myself down in it.
That's awesome. Appreciate you. Grateful for you. And we have asked Seth Chisholm.
That's my boy.
If he would pray for you.
Hey, you trying to double pray this? I'll pray at the same time.
Not bad. Ooh, okay, we got here on the right time. Yes, sir. All right. Dear Lord, I want to pray for my guy Alan here. I want to thank you so much for having him be put in my life these last 2 years. It's been a blast. He's taught me a lot. I just want you to be with him on his journey. Help him to know that he is a mover and a shaker. People watch him. People follow him. He starts trends. Help him to be aware of this moving forward, and learn how to continue to use this in order to bless people. Please make his steps clear to him moving forward in these next couple months of his life, and help him to realize the love and support he has around him. And in your name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Al. Appreciate you both. All right. We saved the last for last. I'm just kidding. We got Brian McNair up. And I'll make that joke because I feel like you'd appreciate that joke, Brian. What's up, brother?
Yo, last place, baby. That's me.
Oh, what's
So everyone
good?
knows, I did not get an applause from the random generator. Everybody else won, and I never won. I was the only one that didn't win.
Oh, man, you won because you're gonna be the one everyone remembers because you're last.
That's
Man,
right.
Brian, Grateful for you, man. And it's been really fun to see you this year in this job. What is something that you've learned this year?
A lot. I've learned probably more than I could summarize. But one of the big things is how important relationships are. Like this year brought so many unexpected turns as we are all sitting here on Zoom, for example, one. And through all the ups and the downs and the lefts and the rights, like the importance of having a relationship, getting to do this internship with my two best friends, getting to walk alongside some dope college dudes, getting to be invested in by older guys has just been so great. And like, I just don't think that this internship would have been the same without the relationships that were made. And I'm so excited that leaving this place, I get to keep those relationships and all those big hitters in my life. So yeah, I'm just so grateful for that. And I've learned that it's just so important to rely on those relationships and allow those people to invest in me, allow those people to lean on me at times, lean on them at times through whatever may be happening. So I'm just very grateful for that. Grateful for everybody that is in that circle with me.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. Relationships are important and we do love them despite what Janelle's assistant says. Brian, what's a highlight for you from the internship?
Oh man, so many. Highlight. Gosh, I think the first one would be Men's Day. Men's Day was hype. If you weren't there, let me tell you about it. We had great food for breakfast. We had great food for lunch, and we had great food for dinner. And that's all I remember from it. I was kidding. But we seriously we had pizza oven for lunch. We had pulled pork, smoked pulled pork for dinner. Dessert. We had freaking ice cream during the Dogs game, which we're not going to talk about that Dogs game, but it was just so great. Had a Nerf war in the Palmer house. I loved it. Just all the boys were together, being boys, goofing around, playing games, watching football. You know, some guys were snoozing. There was one point where the whole Palmer house was just full of snoozers. Everyone was just quick nap time. Jeopardy. It was great. But I loved Men's Day. I was bummed that we weren't able to run it back another time, but I was also super grateful, and a huge highlight that kind of feels like a low light for me, I think, is the DR team. The DR leadership team was amazing, as well as the students that signed up to go on the trip, which if that's you on this call, like, you're my people and I love you, and I'm so sorry that we didn't get a chance to go. But know that like the commitment, the buy-in, the eagerness to learn, to engage with what we were doing, and to dive in to how we can actually help without hurting, and what that looks like for our community to change the culture of that trip was a huge highlight for me. I loved getting to lead that and see those students just grow through those training meetings. I wish we could have seen all our hard work come to fruition, but it was still just so good to be with them in that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's such a fantastic example. I just really loved seeing you translate what you were learning into teaching and walking with people on that trip. It was fantastic. And so I know that even though y'all didn't get to go to the DR, that there's lasting impact from everything that's gone on this year in relationship to that trip. So just very grateful for you and for everybody that has signed up for that trip.
Appreciate that.
Brian, $1 million question, maybe it's not $1 million, but what is next for you? And what can we be praying for you for?
Yeah, I'm trying to ride Trevor's coattails.
You and me both.
For the foreseeable future. My hope is to be at least a housemate with Trevor, get him to support me, at least financially and emotionally. Yes, Alan's bought in with that. But I don't know yet. I got some job applications out there, some interviews lined up and whatnot. So right now I'm hoping to stay in ministry. If the Lord's got it for me. I also was an education major, and there's a few jobs in some support staff roles in some schools around the Seattle area that are pretty exciting, that feel kind of like ministry, just without the name of Jesus attached to them, and I really get excited about that. So yeah, I guess prayers for just discernment for what's next for me as hopefully opportunities start to present themselves, and that I can just lean into where the Lord is calling me. The people that the Lord's calling me to serve, I think, is something I need a lot of clarity for right now. And that I don't just get excited because I have a job opportunity and just take it because it's the first one that says, hey, we want you to work for us. And then I have patience and discernment to know if that's actually a good option or not. And I really want a new car. You could pray for that. That's not that big of a deal, but Casper's kind of getting old and we could just use a new set of wheels.
Hey, that's real.
Trevor, that was at you, Trev. New car, please. Thanks.
We're all just holding out for Trevor, aren't we?
Yes.
Brian, thank you for sharing. We have asked Josh Yap to pray for you.
Oh, what a treat.
Love you, Bri.
Gee.
Yeah, please pray with me. Dear God, I thank you for the extra year that we got to spend with Brian. I thank you for his persistence and faithfulness through all the unexpected events and things that happened and didn't happen. Thank you that he stayed true to himself and continued pursuing people and continued to pour into the community. And I pray for his next steps, that you provide him discernment on where to go. I pray that he will seek you as he's making this decision, and help him figure out who he's called to serve and where he would be most effective in building your kingdom. And I pray that he'll get a new car somehow. Yeah, in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Josh. And thank you, just everyone. Thank you to our interns. We're just so grateful for all of you. We are just grateful for the ways that you've interacted with us and impacted us and blessed us this year, and the ways that we've seen Jesus through you. So just so grateful for all of you. Thank you for everyone who prayed for our interns tonight. We are going to use that to wrap up our message time, and I'm going to pass it off to Jaron, and Jaron is going to lead us through a time of worship. And so we are just thankful for our interns. Throw your thanks for our interns into the chat. And Jaron, it's all you, buddy.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you so much, interns, and for everything that you guys did this past year. I'll miss you guys a lot. We got one song tonight, so let's do it. Unravel me with the melody. You surround me with the song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again to your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. rescue me, and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me, and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
Awesome. Thank you, Jaron. Well, I just want to say thank you again to our interns. I want to invite you all to next week for the last in of the quarter. We get to hear from the one and only Joyce Tang. Please come out and listen to Joyce. We're just excited to hear from her. And we will get to hear from some of our seniors. It's the last in the quarter, so please come back next week. And before the surprise, I want to give this benediction. Interns, we're just grateful and thankful for you. And I say this for the interns, but I also say this for all of you as well. There's nothing in this world that can separate you from the love of God. That there's nothing above the world, underneath the world, or in the world that can separate you from the love of God. So wherever you go and whatever you do next, God's love is around you, for you, and with you. And all God's people said, amen. And now I want to pass the mic to Mike McAvoy.
Hey, well, thank you all, interns. Well done tonight. I'm sorry I can't be there with you, and sorry that I can't be closer to you guys. I am not in Seattle, and you may have noticed that Brian McNair has been in my house the last couple weeks, preaching there 2 weeks ago. I am actually in Lafayette, Louisiana right now. And we've been holding two things in the last year, as we've talked about. We've been holding a lot of grief in our own life from the loss of our daughter this last summer. And it's been a hard year, but today is a really good day because today in Lafayette, Louisiana, Rachel and I officially adopted a baby. And we would like to introduce you to her right now. So thank you for staying on the line. I would like to introduce all of you here on this call to Kyrie Leo McAvoy. She is 5 days old today, and she likes to put her hands in front of her face. Don't you know you're on screen right now? These are, oh my gosh, we got her. Sorry, Rachel could not stay up this late. She is sleeping already because we tried last night to, feed and stuff all night, and you don't sleep as much as I thought. So anyways, here's Kyrie. And we've been in adoption for the last couple months, and we drove down here a couple weeks ago to meet the birth parents, who are wonderful, Crystal and Isaiah. And yeah, May 21st, Kyrie was born, and we've been down here getting to know her. And today the paperwork officially all went through. And so she is legally our daughter today. And we love her. We're excited to bring her back home. We'll get on the road in the next week. I know you can't interact verbally with me right now, but I really appreciate what you guys are saying in the chat, because so many of you have been on this journey with us. The journey continues. Our family building is not over. We hope for multiple living children, that Mira will have more siblings, and we're just really excited that Kyrie is a fantastic little girl. She's just great. She eats a lot, she fits right in to the McAvoy household. So we're excited to introduce you to her. My mom is actually here with me right now. She was holding Kyrie for a while, so I'll introduce you to my mom, who's down here. My dad's here too. He also went to sleep. It's late here in New Orleans. Also very sweaty in not New Orleans, sorry, Lafayette, Louisiana, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, thank you guys for staying on. We love you all, and we hate to be gone for such a long time. But if there was ever a time to be gone, it's when everyone's on screens and you can be anywhere. And we are very excited though, and very well worth it for our new daughter. And we love you, little one. We love you. You're gonna have lots of people, I'm confident, that are here on this call that will want to, watch you and see you, especially when we can all gather in Palmer House. So thanks for the team, the UMinn staff for holding it down while I'm not there, especially for those like Thurt and Brooke who have taken on a lot of the leadership there while I've been gone. So thanks for letting me pop on for a little bit tonight. Thurt, thanks for letting me take over the end, and interns, I don't want to upstage you. You guys have done so much this year, and I'm just really sorry that your year came to a close without being able to be in person together this final quarter. But you guys have been incredibly faithful, and you're incredibly gifted. You got great futures in front of you. You've given so much to this community, and we love you so much. Rachel and I are so thankful for all you guys have done here, and we are also very excited, in the other hand, to have you meet our daughter. So there you go. That's all I got. Back to you, Thurt.
Well,
if you want to keep looking at her, that's fine too. I noticed that the number is the same. Nobody has left the call in the last 5 minutes. I'm not.
Yeah, they probably will now that me and Brooke are spotlighted.
Yeah, now they don't want to see us anymore.
Oh man, y'all, a lot of tears and a lot of tears of joy, and we're so excited for you, Mike and Rachel and Kyrie, and for the new addition to the UMinn family.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's the best. Everyone, that's all we got for you. And you know what? That was a great surprise.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, she's opening her eyes. This is great. Oh, sorry. Everything she does is incredible.
Oh, Mike.
That's all this time, I promise. I got nothing left.
That's
I'm
awesome.
going to talk about how great she is unless you cut me off here.
You can keep talking about how great she is. Hey, everybody, we're grateful. We'll give you all the ability to unmute yourselves. We're going to hang out for a little bit. You can shout out interns, shout out Mike, shout out Kyrie. Oh my gosh. That's all we got. That's it. Yeah, you guys can unmute yourselves. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. I think everyone just wants to look at you and Kyrie.
Raising her hand. She has something to say.
Oh, man alive.
The name Kyrie, for you to know, my wife says it beautifully. I wish she was here, but it means Lord have mercy. And, it's a great prayer when we don't know what to pray. And so that has been our prayer, where we don't know what to say. God still is there for us and connecting with us and loves us. And she is just a picture of God's incredible love. And for your question about why does she not have a onesie on from UW, is we don't have any UW onesies. So ask Brian where we live. You can come drop some off if you own any. He's there right now holding it down.
Oh man alive. So good. I got nothing. Y'all can stay on.
You can take it. Feel free. You can take the spotlight off me if you want. I don't really know what to say, and I'm still sweating. It's very humid here.
Oh my goodness.
You stayed up so late. She's
ready for a life of working at the inn.
Yeah, she's getting ready. She's getting ready for fall when we can gather together, maybe, or like 2 years from now when we can gather together. Who knows?
Don't say that.
For late.
I don't know, Brooke. I don't know. Whenever we will be able to.
we got to ask about middle name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Leo, which I know what you're thinking is like, little Leo, like Leandra. No, it's not Leandra, although we do love her and miss her around here. Her birth mother's name is Crystal Leopold. And so her middle name is Leo, short for Leopold, to honor her birth mother, who was courageous in believing that this was what was best for her daughter, and loves her daughter a ton, and placed her for adoption because of how much she cares about her, which was a really, really unselfish, courageous, brave thing to do. And so we're super thankful for her, and that's her middle name. So. And McAvoy is just a strong Irish name that she has as her last name. So,
What a great name across the board. Oh. Did she just give her first sermon? Oh my goodness. Mike, I don't think we're going to get people to leave this call, man.
When are we going to do the dance party we always do afterward? That's so fun.
I don't want to dance. Okay, just want to look at the baby. Yeah, you guys want to listen to SpongeBob again? Or?
No SpongeBob.
Yeah, no, me either. Mike, I'm putting you on the spot. What song should we dance?
I don't know. I probably got to go put her to bed here. She stayed up pretty late. So I will then be the first to sign off, and you guys can hang out as long as you want on here. How can we be praying for you? Someone said. Super excited that the paperwork all went through today. All that's good. It does take a little while before the paperwork goes through that we can actually move her out of state. So we'll be really excited when that does go through and we can get on the road, because we're staying here in Louisiana until then. But just that, after what happened to, Mira in our life, we're just really scared. We have PTSD, anytime you go through tragedy in your life, you're bound to, it changes you. And I think the fear is that something, horrible would happen to Kyrie, and I would just not be in control of that. So last night, the first day we had her was yesterday, and last night, every time we'd put her down for bed and then try to sleep, I just couldn't sleep. I just thought, what if she doesn't wake up? What if something horrible happens? And so it was just really hard for me to trust that she's going to be okay when I'm not there every single moment. So she's never going to be allowed to date.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know. Pray for me. Pray for Rach. We want to be able to love her well, and also trust that God is in control of her life and taking care of her as well. So
That's good.
Grace, that's fantastic.
Oh my God.
We were going to be on Who We Introducing this week, but she hasn't said much yet. I'm not sure when babies start talking, but she's been pretty quiet except for like screams. So.
I feel like the Who We Introducing would be a lot like this portion of the Zoom call, and I don't think anyone would care.
Hey, little one.
Man alive.
Slater has not been the happiest. We brought Slater down here with us, but he feels kind of one-upped right now. He doesn't get as much attention as he probably wants. So if anyone wants to watch Slater when we get back, to just kind of or come over and take him for a walk, hang out with him, make him feel loved as the older brother too.
Hashtag pray for Slater. Slater hates me, I think. Sorry, Bailey.
Hey, Mike, if I can say this, I just want to say that I feel so blessed to see this journey and be a part of it. Just as a community, I'm sure so many people feel that way. And yeah, I feel like I'm holding back tears just watching this. So yeah, God bless you. And I'm so excited.
Oh man, thank you so much, John. I appreciate that. And for those of you who are like, what? This is a huge surprise. How come Mike didn't even say anything? Just so you know, we after Mira passed away, we we always wanted to adopt. It's always been a part of our plan to adopt. We thought we might want to have 3 children, maybe adopt 1 or 2, birth 1 or 2. And in the fall, when we signed up for adoption, we actually got picked quicker than we thought in January. And after about a month in an adoption match, the birth mother decided to pull out of that match and to raise the baby herself. And that was great. We're happy for her, because when parents decide to raise their own children that they birth, that's great. And we don't want to break up families at all. We're very supportive of that. But for us, we already had 2 pregnancies that hadn't worked out for us, and to have a 3rd due date on our calendar that we were preparing for that didn't happen for us. When we got matched with Kyrie this time, this was our 4th due date that we had circled on the calendar with no living children. And so we were really weary to tell people, just thinking it's not going to work out. It doesn't work out for us. It just not wanting to tell people and then have to tell people the same thing we've been telling them, which is, the ways things have ended poorly. And so we tried not to tell anybody just because we were just nervous. History told us we just didn't know what was going to happen. And this was a big step of faith to keep moving forward in the times that we just felt like it wasn't moving that way before. So yeah, if you're like, wow, total shocker. Yeah, it's because we didn't really tell very many people this time until it became official. But now that it is, we are overjoyed, and I hope that you're part of this journey and her life with us. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Mike.
Yes.
That's all. It's still on me, but she also can do no wrong and never will. So never think that you're more important than she is. Just letting you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you're stuck with 50 people, man. Well,
our parents have been great. So great to have wonderful parents who are there. So, yeah, this has been good. I haven't really read any other questions. I don't know if you had any or not, but feel free to also put praise for our interns in here, because they have been fantastic.
Interns who graduating class of 2041. Fantastic. Kyrie's made me speechless a lot of times, so this is one of those times.
Come on, Thurtons, take us away. Where are the MCs?
What do you want us to say? Hey, everybody, get off this call. I'm not going to do that.
Everyone, we're done.
We are done. You're free to leave when you want.
This is when we play church clap and everyone does the dance.
No.
No.
Thanks, Sam.
Fine, we'll do another Zoom in then.
Yeah, there we go. That's what
I don't know, maybe how much screen time can a baby have, I guess. And maybe we got to limit her screen time.
No.
So she watches a lot of TV. I'm just kidding. She watches me and Rachel beat my parents in code names. That's what happens a lot.
How's grandma doing?
Good.
I bet. That's awesome.
Hey, I mean, she raised me. Obviously, she knows what she's doing here. So,
there you go.
She can be trusted with children.
Sure. I'm sure she can.
Ready, little one?
Awesome.
So if anyone would like to quarantine for 2 weeks and then come hold her, you have to show me documentation that you have been by yourself for 2 weeks in an isolated room.
Does living in your house count?
Depends if those flowers got watered while we were gone or not.
Oh, you bet.
If they didn't before, they will now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We got a guy from Kashmir. Of course, the plants are like going to be the greatest they've ever been taken care of.
Right.
You're gonna have a couple of apple trees.
Yes.
some cherry.
Yeah. They've all been fertilized, and we're gonna have cherries back there.
Hey, all organic. I learned. I know.
There you
Shout
go.
out, Rage.
Geographical center of the state. State.
Sorry.
She has my eyes. You just can't see them. They're closed.
Good one.
Sorry, it's like the joke of adoptive parents. It's a pretty common dad joke. And if I didn't start fast enough before, the dad jokes will start now. So I've been learning from Grant a lot. He's got a lot of great dad jokes. So
Yeah,
It's true.
that's fantastic. It's fun watching everyone's faces just like all in.
I know you didn't think that. You didn't think when you jumped on this call tonight, this is what you get. See, show up for Zoom in. You get some surprises. Some nights we might be giving out cash prizes. Probably not, but maybe
Giving
$1.
out for what?
I don't know. Didn't somebody win like $1 or something for winning the race? Did anyone win the Wikipedia race? That's a big cash prize.
We did a sporkle today.
Yeah.
For you.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't on the beginning. She was wanting to eat a lot at that time.
Oh, that's all right.
Alexis won.
Alexis got 20 out of 20 on SpongeBob character jobs.
That is very impressive.
It is.
Wow. I didn't even know they had jobs.
$20.
Hey, Kyrie. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Okay, I'm going to go for real right now.
Yeah, we'll let you all get some sleep, get some rest. Thank you.
I love you all. You can unspotlight me. Kyrie, say good night.
Good night, Kyrie.
Thanks, Mike, for jumping
Okay,
on.
thank you guys. We love you all.
Good night. Well, thank you for staying
Wasn't that the best
for
surprise?
that surprise. Man alive. The fact that we just sat here for like half an hour, that's fantastic.
It's true.
Anyways, thank you guys for a great night. Thank you, interns. Y'all don't gotta stay here, but you gotta stay home.
See you next week.
See you next week. Joyce is speaking. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh man.
This is
Joyce.
Can't promise, but maybe Kyrie will make an appearance. I don't
Got so late that the lighting in your house isn't go away.
know. Yeah, it got so late that it's dark in here.
It's nighttime in our home now.
We haven't even turned on our lights. We're enthralled with baby Kyrie.
Hey, Mike's camera's technically still on. We don't know what's gonna happen. You know, maybe
Everyone's just here waiting on
if he
busy
comes back. I don't know. he didn't log off.
We'll just hang here. We'll just stay right
Spotlight
here.
it and wait. He comes back like an hour later.
You're right. I forgot to quit highlighting me. Literally, I was getting so sweaty, guys. It's just, it's like, if you thought I sweat normally, you should see me in Louisiana. My God.
Louisiana.
That was awesome.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We're gonna end this call because
Yes.
it's almost
Okay.
it's like what, midnight over there? Man alive.
Live look at Mike, guys. There it is.
Oh my gosh. Good night, everybody.
Oh, that's good.
God bless.
That's good, Brian. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Bye, everyone.